the main questions tend to be around what legal support do we have? Can we access a solicitor? How much do we have to pay to access a solicitor? One of the key questions there is, are duty solicitors trustworthy? There's lots of rumours around, lots of stories of duty solicitors working with police, being untrustworthy, sharing information that they shouldn't. Um, is it safe to use a duty solicitor, or should you always seek to get your own solicitor?
Yeah, so there's a few different questions in there. So it's free. Every single person in the country, no matter what their means are, is entitled to free and independent legal advice at the police station. Doesn't matter who you are. So if you ask the police for a solicitor, they should really ask you, do you want a solicitor, yes or no? And if you say yes, they'll say, they should say, do you have your own solicitor? Sometimes they don't do that and just attach the duty. But if they say, yeah, do you have your own solicitor? If you've got a solicitor's firm that you know about, then say them. If not, then they will allocate you the duty solicitor. As we've said, us here at Hodge, Jones and Allen are more than happy to assist in any way that we can. Anyone from the traveller movement, from the traveller Gypsy Roma community. So we are a name that if someone needs a name, we're more than happy to assist. We've got a big team here, happy to help in as many ways as we can. So what we advise, and I always advise my clients as well, because particularly when they're children, they often forget. So I've got clients who know me and deal with me, but they might forget my name or what firm I work for or things like that. So we always advise to have something if you're having issues, particularly in your child's being arrested quite often. Always have written down the name of the firm, the name of the solicitor, and the phone number. So we obviously have business cards. So I always say, look, just keep my business card in your wallet with you at all times. And then even if you can't remember, you can say, oh, I've got it in my wallet, and they can dig it out for you. There is a kind of that misconception about duty solicitors. They absolutely do not work for the police. It's this, just common misconception that we get all of the time. They are independent from the police. You have to be independent from the police as a duty solicitor. A duty solicitor, all it means is someone's taken extra exams. So you qualify as a solicitor, and then you have to take extra exams to become a duty solicitor. And you're then put on a rota. So, for example, yesterday I was duty solicitor for Bexley Heath Police Station, 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So anyone who didn't have a solicitor during those hours, the police would ring through to a call centre. That would come through to me, and they'd say, this person wants a duty solicitor, and then I would be allocated those cases. So it just means that they're a solicitor that's taken some extra exams, and they're on this rota and are attached to certain police stations at certain times. Completely independent. What I would say is, as with anything, you've got good solicitors and bad solicitors. So you can have some great duty solicitors, which I would say in our team here, we've got brilliant solicitors when we're all duty solicitors. However, you do come across other duty solicitors that are not so great. Unfortunately, that does exist and we can't hide it. So my advice would be to go to a recommended firm or go to a named firm. There's different portals online. So there's something called like the Legal 500 or Chambers and Partners, and you can find where different law firms and how they're ranked and things like that. So I've often even been on call sometimes, and I've had someone call through and they've said, oh, we found you on this, website that you're highly recommended. And I've got someone, my friends at the police station, can you represent them? So I would say, if you can, go for a recommended firm that you can see they've got good credentials. But if all else fails, get the duty solicitor, as it's better to have advice rather than not. Unfortunately, sometimes you can go in and you can say things very, very innocently, but because you're not trained on the law, you might not understand that you're saying something in a way that's trying to be good and trying to help your case and innocently, but it can have repercussions that you just don't know about and that you're not aware about. So you need that legal advice to be properly advised about what's going on, and they can push your legal rights. So if you've been there for a long time, and particularly with children, we always, our stance is to try and get them out as soon as possible. So they can, and I think this was one of the other questions about how long you can be held. So initially, without charge, it's 24 hours. And then it can be extended if it's like a serious case, murder, things like that, they can extend it further. But with children, children should be dealt with differently. So our stance is, if a child gets arrested at 9 p.m. tonight, unfortunately, the police are not immediately ready to interview someone. So they will need time to, maybe they're still getting witness statements together and things like that. So it can take quite a few hours before they're actually ready to interview someone. So say your child's been, arrested for robbery. They're trying to get a statement from the person who says that they've been robbed. But that hasn't been done yet. So they're trying to get that in, and they're trying to get CCTV and different bits of evidence before they can actually interview them. What our stance is we always call up and we say, look, this child is 14 years old. Please, can you bail him out for the evening so he doesn't have to spend a night in custody, he doesn't have to sleep in custody, and he can come back at 10 a.m. in the morning. Let's arrange an appointment now. He can come back straight away, 10 a.m. in the morning, so that he can go home, have a good night's sleep, and we can come back and just do the interview tomorrow, because then they're going to be ready to interview at 3 a.m. and waking up. I had a recent experience where I had a child, and I was arguing and trying to get them bailed out, but unfortunately there'd been about 5 boys arrested. So I think that was kind of the key reason why they wouldn't let that happen, because people could then obviously talk within themselves. Then I went out and did the interview at 3 a.m. in the hopes that they would then get him out as soon as possible. Then it was like 12 p.m. the next day and they still hadn't released him because they were waiting for interviews of other people to take place. So it's very, very difficult, but we always push really, really hard to try to get our children out as soon as possible. As I say, come back the next day, and rather than them then being, interviewed in the middle of the night. It's not conducive for someone's best interview. I don't think anyone's their best at 3 a.m. So yeah, that's what we try to do.